Oh.
Hello and welcome to our fun live stream about the flash sale that's going on. I'm here with a couple of other folks from the flash sale, and the flash sale is 99 cents for all of our books. There's over 30 authors doing this, and we are going to, talk about our books, and let me introduce you to the other authors. We have here Ken Hartley and Kim Groshek. Is that right, Groshek?
Yep. Hello.
Fantastic. Hello, everybody. So my name is Michael Brian Lee. As you can see, my book is called World Innovators Cup, and World's Greatest Minds Take the Field is the subtitle. My ideal reader is kind of funny because it's split in between young people in middle school, like 10 to 14 years old, and at the same time, people like myself or like Ken or Kim, people in our age group who like kind of quirky things that are a bit unusual and can, kind of have fun with a book. So those are the different brackets that I'm aiming at. So they're very different from one another. And I would like to know from you, Kim, what is the name of your book and who is your ideal reader?
And who's my ideal reader?
Thank you, Michael.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought you said Kim.
Probably did. Go right ahead. Go ahead, Kim. This is going to be tough. Kim. And you remember I'm from the South, so Ken is my Ken is technically with an I because that's Southern accent. But I'm sorry, Kim. Go right ahead.
All right. So my name is Kim Groshek, and my book is called Undecision. And it's how leaders stop redeciding, close open loops, and move forward. And the book is for leaders, business owners, and people who feel stuck, making the same decisions over and over and over again. I wrote this book because I saw so many smart leaders spending too much time second guessing themselves. They have too many open decisions, too much noise, and it was slowing them down. So I wanted to give leaders a simple way to make clear decisions, move forward, and create more peace in their work and life. Ken, on to you.
Yeah, now it's Ken's turn.
Got it. Well, hi. Yes. So my book is called Calling the Presidents, and it is a book on leadership. It's leadership lessons from every commander-in-chief. It represents 12 years of study for me to put together. And my ideal reader is someone who loves history, although it's not really a history book, but someone who really is passionate about learning leadership principles. It's been said a wise person learns from their mistakes, a genius learns from somebody else's, and I add to that a fool learns from neither. So the goal of this book is to teach leadership lessons, both good and bad, from the presidents. And the ideal reader, I guess, would love the idea of leadership and history.
It's interesting, Ken, because I think both you and I have a book which is a history book, which is not a history book. So that's fun. I'm looking forward to reading yours.
I was intrigued by your cover. I thought that was fantastic.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to yours, and actually yours too, Kim. I managed to get into a group here with two people who have books that I'm really excited about. So I got lucky. But let me ask you, Ken, how does signing up for this Kindle Flash Sale campaign fit in with your marketing efforts?
Well, word of mouth is a big thing. As a speaker, my book, I generally had done a lot of online marketing because I end up making the books available where I go speak. But this was another way to put something out there. And I thought it was so wonderful, not just to be able to put my book out there online for Kindle, which it is, and bring more awareness to it, but also to get to meet all of these other incredible authors. That was really a cool thing. And it just makes you well known with people who are out there actually writing books. As we may not realize it, but we're actually in a small club that took the time to sit down, write the book, complete it, edit it, get it published, get it out there, get it digitized and put out there. That's not a lot of people follow through and actually do that. So that piece alone, getting to meet the other authors, was a big deal for me. And then the marketing side of it kind of was the icing on the cake.
Have you done a flash sale before?
No, it's my first.
So what was exciting for you about cross promoting with other authors? I mean, I get it was interesting to meet them, but what else, like in terms of cross promoting with us and others, what was that like?
Well, I think it's the old Walt Disney term of synergy, that the sum becomes greater than the parts. We get to put something out there, but there's a bunch of different authors doing this all at the same time. And so I can put something, I could say, hey, I'm going to do a sale on my book, but it only reaches my people that I have contact with. Whereas when there's 30 or 40 other authors who are involved in this, I mean, it's a huge synergistic effect that we can reach hundreds of thousands of more people than we could on our own. I think that's the huge advantage.
I think there's one author in our group, and I'm not sure if I remember who it was, but there's one author in our group who's gotten 7,000 plus clicks from their posts in the 2 days. Which is
not even going to try to lie. I was jealous.
Kim, what about you? How does signing up for the Kindle Flash Sale campaign fit with your marketing efforts, and have you done it before?
Yeah, I've done it since inception. Been doing it. I have 65 books published, so I usually bring one book into the table. And it's been an amazing experience where, first of all, to reach more people and share our ideas together. And like Ken had said, it is like a club. I have built relationships with other authors, like-minded thought leaders. And also it's been giving me the ability to actually look under the hood, because I get an opportunity to read other people's books and actually see what it's about and see how it aligns with my concepts and some collaboration, because that's what I do. I do a lot of partnerships within what I actually do. I'm excited about working with the other authors too, because we've been able to support each other here in this week's club and share our stories. And the biggest thing is that we can help more readers find the books that can make a difference, because we're making it more personal, because we are reading them ourselves, and we can actually share it with people that know us already. And together in this wonderful opportunity this week is that we can create more impact than we could have done it alone.
Amazing. For me, I actually fit really well into this marketing that I was already doing because of the World Cup, which is happening right now. And it was part of my marketing was to be using the World Cup as a lever point for the marketing. And I wanted to do a 99-cent sale for the World Cup anyway. So it worked out really well. It fit right in. And I've not done this before. What I found really exciting about this was that, we tend to work in isolation, right? I mean, we're writers. We're not politicians, right? So we do a lot of work by ourselves. So when we're doing the promotion, we work with other authors. I found it going to book fairs, doing public displays of the book was always more fun. I mean, I did a Barnes & Noble signing of my book, and it was just me. And it was not as much fun as doing it when I was doing book fair with 3 or 4 or 5 other authors alongside me, being able to actually share the experience. And I think it's like that with this flash sale for me, is doing it together is really inspiring. And definitely, like you said, it leverages other people's networks and other people's worlds. We get exposed to all these different people's worlds that we normally might not reach. So that's exciting. You guys up for some optional questions?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Question 3. If this is your first book, is it your first book? It's definitely not Kim's first book.
No.
So let me ask you this. How does this book differ from your earlier process, Ken, the way you wrote this book?
Well, this one for me was the other books are also leadership or communication oriented, but this one, with the amount of history involved, required me to do a lot of research. I mean, the last 25 pages of this book is nothing but cited bibliography, which I've never had to do in any of my other books. So that was quite extensive. And it involved me going to every presidential library, museum, home, gravesite, all those things to research. So I would say the research on this alone sets it apart. And then it was 2.5 years of writing, which was the longest it ever took me to do a book.
Wow. Where did you get the budget to go to all the presidential libraries? That's incredible.
Well, now that's over a period of 12 years. So I had moments where people would book me to speak in a certain place, and I would always research what's around that place, and was always pleasantly surprised to find different presidential sites. And as I got involved in going to a few of them, I thought, what would it take to go to all of these? And I just started writing out where they were. And then as travel ended up happening, I would be within an hour or 2 hours of something, and I would just add an extra day.
Is all the presidents in your book? All 44?
All 45 men and all 47 terms. There's something about every one of those in the book, correct?
Oh yeah, it's 47 now.
47 terms, 45 men.
So all 45 of the people are in the book, all of them?
They are.
Wow. Hopefully there'll be a woman in there next time you do a new edition. Huh?
You know, hope springs eternal. And there's a historical argument to be made for Woodrow Wilson's wife as well. You never know.
You have to read the book to get that. Kim, what about you? How is this book differing from your other 60 plus books, the way you wrote this?
Yeah, so I always wanted to do an autoethnography, and this actually is a research book too. It may not look like it from the outside. So if the audience doesn't know what an autoethnography is, it basically is writing your autobiography in a research way. So you actually write a story with a beginning, middle, and end, but you actually have the arc in the middle, chapter 6, which is actually giving the actual concept or framework that you actually are, the hypothesis that you're trying to prove. Mine also has references, but mine is real life references now, where I did a lot of research with executive roundtables every other week. And I did that for about a year. And as I was doing that, I validated some of my hypothesis, but then I actually was writing my story that I was going through at the same time as I was evolving in the research. So it's a pretty cool concept. And many of my beta readers have shared that it's very poetic and very powerful. And it really was a great opportunity, because when I was working on my PhD over 20 years ago, my advisor had told me, I always wanted to, I'm a big writer. I've written fiction novels and children's books and other fantasy books besides my nonfiction books. And in it, I always wanted to do that storyline, show them, not tell them type thing, because research tends to be telling and validating based on data. And she told me that it's a very difficult way to write research. And so this was my opportunity to, after my 64th book, to really dive into something new. Because every single book that I have written, I try something different and learn a new way of writing. Because my first book I wrote was back in the day when it wasn't so easy. I actually did self-publishing, but I ordered my books in China to be printed and be distributed in a warehouse. So I actually know that whole process. And so it's become much easier to do that. But so that part is easy for me, because I have a regular process. But now this process of writing story, because I have a fiction novel, a young adult novel that I've experienced already. So now I know how to write that, built that in. understand research because I've done a lot of research journals back in the 90s all the way through, right? And yeah, so that's the difference this time. But the ironic thing is, because I had a book release party and all of the beta readers were there, and they were saying to me about this poetry. And my first children's book was very poetic. It was like a Dr. Seuss. And that was back in 2005. And so I didn't realize myself, I didn't intentionally write that way. I was just writing my story based on all of these deep emotions I was dealing with and aligning it with the formula that I was trying to, support, and the data that I was trying to support it with. So it was pretty cool. Very, very cool experience for me.
Fantastic. It's really interesting hearing about this stuff from other writers. And one of the other benefits of doing this campaign together is just to get the chance to learn a little bit more from some really, really accomplished writers like yourself. For me, I mean, I've written a few books, but only one that I've published so far. The others I put aside to get this one out for the World Cup. And I found this was a very different experience for me to write this book because the nature of the book is it's more visual than it is text. There's pictures of trading cards of each player, each innovator, and there's an action photo as well of each innovator playing football. And those pictures carry a lot of the weight. So each chapter, each of the innovators has maybe about 500 words total in their entries. So there's really a lot of space for the imagination to play with visual, which is very different from anything I've ever done because, most books are very text heavy, obviously, because that's what books usually are. So this was very different for me to do a book that was more visual and more about kind of the impressionistic collection of little entries. I think probably something like yours in some way, Ken, in the sense that it has entries that are many, many entries that are different and have like a different take on each entry, but you can probably read each of your sections quite quickly, I'd imagine.
We need to get busy, Michael. I mean, I've only done 10. You've written some 64. Kim,
That's not very much.
That's prolific. I mean, I'm blown away. Seriously, that's amazing.
Yeah, not very much. Really got to speed it up.
Well, it's really about putting it's really like about putting a method in place, as I think both of you alluded to. And when you're consistently writing every day, and I have 15 minutes I set aside every day, and it ends up being more because I get so into it, right? I've got a regular time frame. I'm writing.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. And that was so important too.
Okay, Ken, you've gone quiet.
I can. Oh, Kim. Yes, I've lost her picture.
I think
on
Kim
here as
has
well.
taken us out. There we go. You still there, Ken?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You sound good.
Yeah, she was touching on such a huge point as far as the consistency, and that's when a lot of the writing really started to solidify for me. There she is. She's back.
She's back.
We lost you just for a second, and it was so good what you were saying too about the consistency factor.
Keep on going, Ken. You're on it.
Yeah, just doing a little bit every day. And there was advice that I cannot remember the writer that told me, but I know the original advice comes from Louis L'Amour, the great Western writer, who said if he got stuck, he would just start writing anything. And I think the actual line was, if you want to have water, you have to turn on the faucet. And so he would just start writing anything, and eventually that would lead into him being able to write what he needed to write for that day. But oh goodness, Kim, I love that consistency of just 15 minutes a day that evolves into more. That's so strong.
And I use exercises like that, and I didn't realize there was a name to it, but I just have done it. Like sometimes I'll get 3 blank pieces of paper and a pen, and I'll just write about anything that comes to mind. Like, oh, there's a brown door here. There's a window, the light's coming through, the birds chirping, and it's all mishmash. But in the end of the 3 pages, it becomes, you can look back and see there's actually themes in it. Or I do mind maps, but I do it in a creative way. I get markers and I start out with maybe a picture of the word that I want to create. You know how mind maps are, where you start with a word and then you actually spring off to get your ideas flowing, so you have the scope of what you want to do. Well, I didn't really do a mind map for that reason. I was just doing mind maps, and it turned into this beautiful artwork in the end. But then when I look at the artwork, it turns into, I've got this loop series with very much like Alice in Wonderland, where it's going down the hallway and the picture has a door going down, you know, you open the door down the hall. I mean, it's like pretty cool what comes out of this creative process. But it is that, you know, many people end up making it hard for themselves, and then they stop themselves, or they have to write. And you become like you are pushing yourself rather than just allowing it to be, and then allowing the space to just kind of form around you as you create, because it is a real creative process, right?
Kim, I'm going to ask you one last thing. And
Sure.
I'm going to try something fun here just for a minute. I'm going to do that. That's exciting.
There you go.
Looks like we're on the news now. How has your
like
definition of success changed since the launch of your book? Has it changed? Did it transform?
Yeah, so I love that question, because when I first wrote my children's book in 2005, which is something I did when I was a kid, I had in my head, I want to write a book. And then when I was 8 years old, I used to take those little notepads with that open to the side, and I created my own little books with color, with chapters, all kinds of things. It was like probably 2 pages per chapter. And I knew in my head I wanted to do a book. I just did. It was something inside of me. So when I did my first children's book, I illustrated it, wrote it, and the intention was to write it poetic, right? Because I want kids to read it. And the theme was to empower kids rather than enabling kids, right? Doing everything for them, giving them some skills within the book. And my thought was that it would just sell. And I did a lot of work to do that, where I would travel to the National Library Association. I actually signed my books at the New York Book Exchange during the New York book thing in the spring. I traveled around. I went to the Oscars and did backstage events. I did a lot of marketing, learned a lot about marketing, right? But I didn't call success until it was sold. I did sell enough, but in my head, it was selling the books, making money. And then I wrote my second children's book, because I knew how to do it. So I said, I'm going to draw pictures and then write. Again, a new way to do it. And then I wrote another book, this in a series. And I soon came to realize that my IP, or my knowledge in my head, was more important to get out in the world than it was to sell a book. So I actually decided to create what I know into either product, which is books or courses or whatever it may be, because it depends upon what I'm doing. But the books themselves are there. And so now I go to companies and I talk about decision making, for instance, or I talk about micromanagement. What versus how is another book, right? And I come in with the book and hand it to them and say, read it. And then part of that is teaching the concepts around it. So it's like going to a library. I have Kim Clarity Library, I call it. And I go and pick this book because I hear this person has this problem. And then they bring me in and I speak about it. And then the books are included in it. I don't look to sell my books and try to get it out there through this 99-cent sale. However, this is an amazing opportunity to get the book out there. That's not my intention. Why I'm in it, first of all, is because Robbie runs it, and he runs a very tight ship and very efficient. And I learn something from him every time I do it. Again, it's all about transfer. And also it's all about connecting to each of you here and the audience here, and giving the gift of my knowledge here to everyone else in the world. So I don't know. I never really said I was successful ever. I never called myself being successful. I never worked to be successful in my life, but people see me as successful. Does that make sense? So I hope I answered that question.
You did, and I hope, Ken, you were paying good attention, because I'm going to ask you the same question. How has your definition of success around your book changed since you launched it?
I hate to repeat because it was so good. It was so thorough what Kim said, but I will say that when I first started writing a book, I thought, oh, it would be great to write a book about a subject and people would read it. And there was Ken in all his naivety. However, I learned that it is much more about putting something in their hands that could be of value. And as somebody who is a speaker on leadership and travels all over doing this, that was something I want. When people hear me speak on stage, they would say, okay, but that can't be it. There has to be something more. And that was the idea for the book, is to give them something more to take home with them, to kind of extend the journey together. So my definition of success was never about how many would I sell. And obviously from a 99-cent flash Kindle sale, nobody's going to get rich on that. However, and I'm not saying that we're all going to, become extremely well known from something like this. However, does it give us the ability to help more people? I'd have to say yes. I believe that's the strength, and helping people, empowering people, that's why I exist. So that would be my definition of success.
That's great. And it's hard for me to add much to what you guys have said, but I will just add that with my book, when I started, my idea of success was really to get as many people as possible to get the book. Like, how many people would read the book? Now, I never was under the illusion that I was going to make a lot of money from the book, but I did have the illusion that maybe I could reach 5,000 people or 10,000 people with the book, But after going out and selling the book in public, going to the Barnes & Noble signing, going to book fairs and so on, my definition has changed quite a bit of success. But success to me is someone picks up the book, engages with it, and then gets it. Like when there's a good review on Amazon and someone writes something there and you go, they got it. They really understood the book. And they appreciated it. And, what I was trying to communicate got communicated to somebody, to a person. And whether that person is a 12-year-old kid who plays soccer, or whether it's a 55-year-old, woman who has kids who play soccer, whoever it is, it's amazing to watch somebody get the book, And so for me, that's where my definition of success has, I think, matured a little bit since I started with this book a couple of months ago. So we have used up all the questions. I feel bad because I'm enjoying so much being here with you. And I'm going to just jump to the other view there again so we can see all three of us in our full glory. And I just want to say that for everybody, if you have made it this far, you will see in the comments or the description of this broadcast, you will see the same thing you're going to see on the screen right now, which is www.kindleflashsale.com/Michael is my link to the books. And I have been instructed to use that link. So I'm using it. www.kindleflashsale.com/Michael. This will get you to all of the more than 30 books that you can get for 99 cents each. In some cases, $1.99, but mostly 99 cents. And those ones that are $1.99 are a great value too, because the reason they're $1.99 is because the file size is too big to be sold for 99 cents. So those must have a lot of data, because I thought my file size was big for my book because it's got so many images in it. But mine is 99 cents. So those ones that have a bigger file size must have amazing stuff, just amazing. So anyway, that is our story, I think. Does anybody else have anything else you'd like to say or say goodbye or anything?
It was great to meet.
Thank you, Michael. Yep, I was going to say, we're talking over each other,
Ken. Ladies first, Kim, go ahead.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for hosting this. It was amazing. What a great job facilitating. And I really enjoyed hearing more about your book, and I'm really excited to read it. And Ken, too, I am very interested in reading the research that came out of the book, or the book that came out of the research, and learn a little bit more about those presidents, because I think we all could always learn that. I'm sure you've seen those videos or shows on TV where people interview other people about the presidents. I think we all can learn more, and I'm sure there's a deeper knowledge from that as well. So thank you so much, Michael, for hosting this.
And
Yeah,
I just got this flash in my head. Grover Cleveland. That was the other one. That why there's two missing presidents.
You can't really see, but right there, that is actually a little statue of Grover Cleveland that's sitting on that desk.
Cool.
So yes, extraordinary guy that I really enjoyed learning about, which involved 2 trips to Buffalo, New York. So yes, you are right on the money, Michael. That is the guy. Kim, I'm blown away by all you've done, and I cannot wait to dive in to Undecision, because I think there's so many extraordinary things that just hang in the balance on what we end up doing. And I love the whole concept that you put out there. So yours was one of the ones, I'm just a full disclosure, yours was one of the ones I immediately went to and went buy. And I think I even sent you a message that said, I just bought this because it looks so strong. Because I think everybody can trace every bit of heartache in their life back to one bad choice, or maybe the ones that compounded. And so, yes, that was intriguing for me. And Michael, as a lover of history, I also have your book in my Kindle library, and cannot wait to dive into a few of these on some of those long plane rides from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Look, the great part about mine, Ken, is you can actually read it in the bathroom on the plane ride.
I don't take my Kindle in there, but now who knows?
So one last time, if you guys didn't catch it yet, that's where you can get the books, kindleflashsale.com/Michael. And we really encourage you to at least get out there and get the 3 of our books, right?
Please.
But while you're there, grab a few more. This has been Kim, Ken, and Michael. And I guess we are signing off. So thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.